Welcome to another episode of the One Life Podcast. We're going to dive deeper into the weekend sermon. This week was week number 2 of a series we called What About? And we talked about giving.
Generosity.
Super fun topic and discussion. I think first, why'd you pick it as one of the, just all the different topics that we're talking about? And then, I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but when you get ready for a generosity type sermon, is there excitement in that, like new energy, or is there a little bit of the tension of like, I hope people don't take this the wrong way or they get mad that I'm talking about money?
The reason why I picked it is I do get asked that question a lot, especially from new believers. Like, what does the Bible say about giving, tithing? So I try to hit on all of those things. Second, I was really excited to preach this because honestly, it's like a life message that's kind of just in me of the reasons why we give and given the biblical perspective of it. So I was able to address tithing. You're right. It's Old Testament. You technically don't have to do that. But the New Testament, the mandate changes, right? The motivation. So, and then grace giving, most scholars would agree it's way more than a tithe anyway. But I just tried to give it fresh perspective, tell some personal stories, some things that Amanda and I have tried to shape our life with about giving. So I was fired up. I felt like this was maybe the most unique way I've ever approached a giving message.
So the why we give piece, right? You list out 7 different reasons. Talk a little bit about, you hinted towards a sermon you previously heard. You were in Bible college. Give us a glimpse of what that situation was like and then how you implemented that into the sermon.
And I remember yesterday, I was sitting in the back row of Trinity Baptist College, shout out Jacksonville, Florida.
Go Eagles.
And it was I don't even remember the guy. It was an old country pastor, I think from one of the sticks in west of Jacksonville, so Middleburg maybe area. It's just vivid, but I forget his name. And he did a message on why we give, and it was again very personal. It was the motivation was I guess thing that stood out with me. This is the inward motivation of why you should be a generous, giving person more than the Bible just says to do it. Yes, I think that is important motivation. But there's so much more with that. So I had some notes. I don't even know if maybe half of them probably were his. And it just stuck with me as an 18, 19-year-old, Bible college student. And we've just kind of lived our life that same way. I don't even remember how many points he had. But there's several of those. That's
still impressive that you remember it because you're like 20 years removed from Bible college. I'm like 8 and I don't remember any of the chapel services.
Because you skipped the one that I was preaching
That's
at.
True.
but I would say there's maybe 2 or 3 messages like that. Where it just hits you. And I don't know if it was like right time, right place. Maybe I was in Bible college, you're starting to deconstruct some things you were always doing of like tithing. Should we even tithe?
Yeah.
And then this guy has a message on that of it doesn't take away from the law. It changes the motivation for it.
Yeah.
I remember that so clearly. And so it's just have always stuck with me. And then Amanda and I, we literally have motivation for generosity and giving through the filter of 2 Corinthians chapter 8.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of the Bible college message and then my spin on it as well.
All right. So the 7 things you hit on. Number 1, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Yep. Number 2, the one we've surrendered our lives to instructs us to give. Number 3, to position ourselves for God's blessing and protection. This was one of my favorites of the 7 because I do think it's important. We put ourselves in the right position, which is different. It's a different mindset than a prosperity gospel of no, you do it and you're going to get a blessing. Yeah. This is let's position ourselves to where if he does, and I immediately thought of basketball. Yeah. If you're open, position yourself, get open, let him pass you the ball. And once you get the ball, now you can do something with it.
That's right.
But if you're just camping out, standing still and expecting the ball to come, it's
a great illustration. I actually walked off the stage. Gianna was with me at the East Mesa campus at the 9:00 service. And I sit down and she's so funny. She's so encouraging. She's like, "That was really good, Dad." I'm like, "Thanks." And you were doing your close on stage. I'm like, "Thanks." I'm like, "What was your favorite point?" She goes, "Number 3. And then she goes, I don't think I've been tithing and giving, and I want God's blessing and favor. It was that little moment of we probably haven't been with all of her babysitting money and all the stuff that she gets from time to time.
Yeah.
Like very like strict, and I would say like way more strict with Gabby and Grayson because I don't trust them. Just
Yeah,
trust her
fair.
fully. I just assume that she's doing it. So that's
fair.
She's like, I don't think I've been doing that. I want to be in God's favor. I'm like, yeah. Dang it, parent fail. As I'm telling the church that we do this with our kids, except for Gianna because I just trusted that she was doing it.
So what's funny is, when we switched, I introduced you at the East Campus and came back down, and Gianna was sitting there by herself. So I said, "Hey, can I sit here?" And she's like, She didn't actually answer. I was like, I guess I'm just gonna sit here. So her feedback, like as you're teaching, like and like her mannerisms. The exact same at 10:30, your wife's sitting right behind me. I'm like, every point you made, everything you said, they sound the exact same.
Isn't that wild?
It was really funny.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, man. They're like two in the same.
Yeah.
Even 2 weeks ago, she was with me on Saturday night, and some lady walks up to her and is like, "Oh my gosh, you look so much like your mom, and your mannerisms, same thing."
Yeah.
Like and she's almost as tall as Amanda.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they laughed at the same things. The amount of laughter, same time, it was like insane.
I have a video on my phone right here of Gianna's probably 3, and they're watching a TV show together, some like Disney movie, and even at 3, Amanda and her would laugh and giggle at the same exact places, and they have their mouth open in the same exact way. It's quite funny.
Yeah. So I had a parenting fail this week, right? You were there for this.
Oh, that's right.
So before service, Hudson just randomly, he doesn't know we're talking about giving. He asked for it, and it seemed like he had like watched Saturday night or been a part of the service. So he goes up to you and he says, "Hey, do you have a coin?" And of course, your assumption is like, "Oh, he wants to give this to the offering." So you say, "Oh, is it for the offering?" And he looks at me like, "No,
I just want a coin."
He's like, "I have a pocket." He has a front pocket. He needs a coin to put in his front pocket. So then later we had the conversation about giving, like, "Hey, here's what he was meaning. Like, here's what the offering is," all that stuff.
So this is hilarious. I said, I do have a coin. Come with me. And in my briefcase, I had like 2 quarters. How random. And I said, one's for you, one's for the offering. And he's like, "I'm not lying." This is what he tells me. "I'm not lying. I have a kid wallet, and I'm putting both of them in my kid wallet when I get home. I'm not giving one to the church."
Yeah,
like,
it's not great.
Okay, sorry. It's so like straight face. Like, "I'm not lying, Pastor Jared. I have a kid wallet."
He's very direct.
I trust you.
So in the process of talking at home later with like why we give our money to God, he got confused and he asked a question. He said, "So I put the money on my dresser, and then in the middle of the night, God just snatches it up."
Tooth fairy. Let's go.
Yeah,
I love it.
He's very confused.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. We're getting there.
Little by little, man. It's again. I thought my kids all were on the same page, but apparently Gianna hasn't been.
Her babysitting business is booming.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
No,
all right, so
good.
but
I'm telling you though, those are the lessons like you're teaching your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it gets, and that's in my prayer for my kids, it just gets instilled in them. Like this is what we do.
Yeah.
I'm just a generous. I just give, and it just becomes this natural part of who they are.
Yeah.
It's not even a thought.
Yeah.
That's my prayer for my.
Which
family.
I do think well, I'm curious your thoughts on this too, because between the 3 of mine, and they're all still really young, but Hudson definitely struggles with generosity the most.
Okay.
Like you can tell that's going to be an issue. Finley, even Colton, like they're share everything.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you can have this, and so it's almost in their personality.
Yep, for sure.
Like they all have sin nature issues, but they're all a little different. And one person struggles with that a little bit more than the other, which I think is interesting even as adults. Like what the types of things that are sin nature is just a little bit different.
Every that's a good point. Every kid is unique and different. You meet them where they are. And I would say Grayson, Gianna's our saver. And it's just the firstborn, like that's just going to be her deal. Very much like me in that way. Grayson is our spender. He's the one who's probably going to struggle with giving the most. I mean, if he gets $20, he has to go get baseball cards right away. And so we're teaching him like, okay, like giving, but also tax. And it's so funny because he visibly gets frustrated. Yeah. And he's adding like, if it's $18, that's like $2 of tax or whatever the case is. Yeah. I don't have enough money for that. I'm like, then I guess you can't buy it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, can you help? I'm like, no. I want to, but I'm like, I'm not actually helping teach money management to you, even as a 12-year-old. So he's gonna be the one that will struggle with it. And Gabby, we're not quite sure. She has such a soft heart.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, yeah, every kid is different. But the goal for me and Amanda is that they just automatically, it's just what you do, whether it's a struggle or not, it's just automatically it's what you do.
Yeah.
I look at Gianna and I'm like, she's gonna have so much money because she's a saver and she understands even compound interest. Grayson's gonna like spend everything he makes. And I'm gonna like be very strict with him about saving and all those types of things.
Yeah.
And no debt. Yeah.
I think this is a kind of off topic a little bit, but from a pastor world, I remember like when I was first coming into ministry, like recurring giving was a big deal. Like it was just like kicking off. People could automate their giving. They were setting, and a lot of pastors pushed back because it was like, well, if you're doing that, then you're not actually like bringing your offering forward. There's not a sacrifice. It's just like, oh, he took it out of the paycheck. It's not really that big of a deal. So speaking to that a little bit of why, like from a church standpoint, why we actually encourage people to set up automated giving. And it is at that point, it is like, I'm not thinking about it. Like this is God's money. It doesn't even come to me. It goes right out.
Well, you said it. It's in my mind, like it's automatic. It's the same thing of like investing in your 403b or 401k. Like when it's automatic, you actually do it. And so at the very highest level, it's just an act of obedience.
Yeah.
I'm trusting God with the first. I was there for that conversation too with different church leaders. I think just technology was scaring people. I think every pastor 20 years later could be like, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Why? So now organizationally, the best thing for us is knowing every single, like there's I don't know, 100 and something reoccurring online gifts. That's just in our database. But then people do through the Chase bill pay, their bank bill pay. That's automatic. But the wonderful thing for us is like budgeting, planning.
Yeah.
Like I wish every single person would do reoccurring giving just because it's easier to manage and budget into the future. And then when, you get surprise gifts or you get a surprise bonus or something like that, that's just extra. But faithful, consistent, automatic is the way to go. You're honoring God with the first. You're not even thinking about it. You just have made, and then that's just a person of principle.
Yeah.
In advance, I've just made this decision.
Yeah.
Like how great is that for your, let me say it this way, your obedience to Christ. It's just automatic.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to do that.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple more other points, again, going back to the why we give. Number 4 was we really believe in the church.
Yeah, the mission. Like this is why I give. It's the best thing going. So if you believe in the mission, and I said this in the growth track this past weekend, like if you believe in the mission, you should give to it. And you should serve in the mission. All those things are the reasons why I give.
Yeah.
Because the local church is the hope of the world.
I think if you disagree with that last sentence, right? Like we are God's plan.
Yep.
Like this is the strategy.
There's no plan B.
Whether we like it or not, we were chosen for this moment.
That's right.
So inside of that, like we have to understand, okay, this is what we give to, which is interesting because I think that a lot of people, they think more parachurch ministry and some of these other things. Like I'm going to give here, I'll give there, and this is a tax write-off, so I'll go to this charity, all that kind of stuff. Speak to that in regards to like parachurch giving versus like, okay, the local church, my tithe is supposed to go into the local church and that tension.
The way I understand Scripture, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse. That is the place in which you worship. And again, the argument is, well, that's Old Testament. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I cannot win that argument with people that would have that line in the sand. But the way I understand it and the way I teach it is the Bible says, bring your whole tithe into the storehouse, the place you worship. That's the tithe. Then grace giving is over and above. And if you want to sponsor missionaries, sponsor other nonprofits, I would say that's giving over and above your tithe. Nothing wrong with that. I think people should do that. Like we're asking people right now, Choices Pregnancy Center, like give a gift over and above your normal giving to get this mobile unit on the road.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's over and above grace giving. You should do it if you feel called by God to do it, but you shouldn't not tithe in order to do those things.
Yeah.
First and foremost, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, which goes back to point 3, because I actually believe you are positioning yourself for God's blessing and favor when you tithe. the way I read Malachi chapter 3.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's important because in the day and age, even with like missionaries, this is another like church tension of like, well, should I give to missions through the church? This missionary reached out to me, wants to have coffee. They want me to support them. Like we're in a weird era, I would say, as far as like individual support, church support.
Yeah,
We don't really have like faith promise anymore.
We
like
struggle with that
stuff.
too. So this is, again, this is descriptive, not prescriptive. This is just what Amanda and I have decided to do.
Yeah.
We tithe and we give more, but we do not support or sponsor anything outside of the local church. We just not just because this is my job.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens, and this is the tension. Well, I'm going to support this one, and all of it together equals 10%. But at the end of the day, if you're to boil it down, it's really a control issue for a lot of people with them. I want to control where my money goes.
Yeah.
I think tithing teaches you like it's God's. Like it's not yours to control.
Yeah.
And so that's where I land on that. People can disagree, but no, you tithe first. You release control. It belongs to God, belongs to the local church in which you worship. And then anything over that you want to bless and give, I think you can control that. Amanda and I, we just have decided we're not going to.
Yeah.
And we're just going to give to the church and trust the leaders. Well,
that's yourself.
A little bit different for me, but you understand the principle there.
Right. That's really good. All right. Number 5, we're a family and I'm in covenant with you. That was your point, right? Talk a little bit into that of like you basically said like, hey, again, like I love you. I love being the pastor here. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, the families take care of each other. And so why I give is to make sure we not just reach and, fulfill the mission, but we take care of the local body.
Yeah.
And we do that through benevolence. We do that. So there's a little bit of, this is a family. Family, we all participate and we all enjoy the fruit of being a part of a family. And what that means is like some are going to give a lot more because they make a lot more. Others are going to give less because they make less. But if all of us do our part together, we can make an incredible difference.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it is right now. I could probably get the data. I didn't come prepared for it. But I think only like 20-something% of Christians actually tithe. If every Christian tithe and trusted God in this area, we could literally meet every single need in Mesa, Arizona and fulfill the vision and meet the needs of our church family.
Yeah.
Like we only have a limited amount of resources. So unfortunately, we're not always able to help in benevolence requests and different things like that. But if everyone was giving and faithful, we'd be able to take care of our family and even our extended family like never before.
That's good.
But that's why we give. It's because we're a family.
Yeah.
And I'm in covenant.
All right. The number 6 was to be an example to the next generation.
Yeah.
So was this was the moment you told the story of Gianna's birthday, right?
No, that was in the first one.
That's right.
Macarios, yeah. This is the one I was talking about, Gabby and the birthday party and getting the coin when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And just instilling it.
Right. Over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's powerful. Any moments, like we were talking about earlier, any teaching moments we have are crucial and we need to take advantage of.
It just goes back to the Shema, right? Like when you're coming and you're going, when you're lying down, when you're like, it's 100% a constant teaching of generosity, of our faith. You have to be passing that on to your kids, which is actually what I'm going to be talking about this coming weekend, Mother's Day, about parenting and how do you parent in today's crazy culture. So many parents, here's the bigger thing. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm constantly making mistakes. And newsflash, we all have feelings like that. But then if you follow the Shema prayer, you're going to get it right more than you get it wrong.
Yeah.
That's my encouragement this weekend.
And then the last one, to hear God say, well done, right? And this was kind of you landed the plane here just in regards to like, what are we going to do with what God's given us?
That's right.
And I was reminded like even in the parables series, right? Like this, we are stewards of everything that God has given us, whether that be our kids, whether it be our finances, the talents that we have, all of that kind of stuff.
Nothing is ours. I know that sounds so crazy to say that. Like she's my wife, but she's a gift from God. All my kids are the same. They're all gifts.
Yeah.
And I am going to stand before the Lord and give an account for how I led my wife, led my family, led this church. And more than anything, I don't know if it's like maybe an old dad wound that just hasn't, been healed, but more than anything, which is why I got emotional every time I actually got to that point. Because I just want Jesus to look at me and be like, man, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, you did it. Way to go. And I want that for me. I want that for you. I want that for our church family. And if we look at that and that's our goal, and think of the incredible difference we can make if we're all on mission with that.
It is special. Like, we all, whether we have a great relationship with our dad or not, like on earth, like there's inside of all of us, we want that like Heavenly Father, I'm proud of you moment.
That's right.
And it makes us seem like a little kid. Like Hudson wants dad to be proud of him. Right. And I hate, this is a pet peeve. I hate when pastors use the word daddy in regards to God.
Yep.
That is the cringiest thing ever. Please don't do that if you're a pastor. Even dad sometimes is like, like Heavenly Dad seems a little, it's okay, but daddy's the worst. Please don't ever say that.
I don't understand why people, there's a cringe moment. Like, this hits you funny?
Why
like,
do we do that?
Ew.
But inside of that, like it is true. Like we all need that and want that, and it's just inside of us.
I mean, I know this sounds like weird, but even as like a boss, some of the best things you can tell your team is, hey, way to go. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's just, there's so much security that communicates. And now think about it through the Heavenly Father lens of who wouldn't want that? Just the security and now welcome into the joy of my kingdom.
Yeah.
Security is found in that moment, which I think at the end of the day, if we're to boil it down, now this is super mental and, being a psychologist, the one thing that everybody desires is security, which is why we long for someone to tell us they're proud of us.
Yeah.
Because of what that does. But anyway, there you go.
All right.
I don't know who that's for today.
Yeah, it's good though.
But it's for somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, you mentioned Mother's Day. Obviously, that's coming up this upcoming weekend.
Spiritual warfare.
Okay.
Well, Mother's Day, let's talk about that. We have a bunch of children being dedicated.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, both locations. And then we have spiritual warfare. Haven't done a message on that in a long time. So got a lot of questions on what does the Bible say about spiritual warfare. Yeah. So,
are you going to go back to some of the Daniel stuff you had referenced before?
Potentially. Okay. I haven't fully mapped that sermon out in my mind yet. I'm curious,
like at least half the people we have coming now were not a part of that. Probably 3/4.
Probably 3/4 weren't.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right. That's one of my favorite series, I think, since I've been here.
Yeah. So you were here for
what was
Song
that
of
called?
Solomon?
What do we call that?
Culture of Compromise.
That's right. Okay. Song of Solomon was the very first introduction.
That was your favorite,
to Trinity Church at the time.
That was your favorite sermon.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is edgy. We went to the West Coast.
Look at him.
This is insane.
Yeah, culture of compromise. There is some spiritual warfare stuff in there. We'll get there. Yeah,
cool.
It'll be good.
Are you any glimpse into? We have Young Communicators weekend too. After that,
that's Memorial Day weekend, and then we're in the summer series. And I know it sounds crazy because just the results that have come back from the Easter survey. And we're just going to call it Summer at One Life, I believe. But I might just be answering
more
the times that I'm up, just up the entire summer. Because my fall schedule is not allowing me to do a series like you asked for it or something like that. So I might this summer just be answering a bunch of questions and we'll talk about missions one weekend. You'll be up, a couple of guest speakers, and I'll just be like, hey, answer this question.
And we are taking a break from the podcast for the summer. We've done that the last couple. Right? Yeah, I think we have 2 more weeks left during the What About series.
And then we'll come back in August and we'll have a brand new set. I'm really excited about that. Team will start getting to work and it's going to be
fun stuff.
Here we are, man. Summer's here.
Today is one of the last days I think it's not going to be really hot.
Which is why I wore like a sweatshirt last time you can.
Just randomly, like it was over 90 on Sunday, and then boop, just dropped back down.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's a tease.
Let's enjoy it while we have it. All right. Well, remember, the church is not a building we sit in. It's a movement we get to be a part of to reach one more life for Jesus.